Welcome everybody to episode 305 of the effing title. I'm Big Husky.
And I'm DeNutte.
And I have had too many energy drinks in the past, 3 days. They had two for $4 Celsius, so I grabbed, too many of them.
You know, I still haven't had one. I always, strikes me as like a seltzer.
They're not great. They're not bad. It's a sparkling starfruit pineapple edition.
Okay.
Yes. It's one of those ones where it's an energy drink, but it's not an energy drink, but it's an energy drink. It says "Live Fit" on it. That's just all I should tell you.
Yeah, but it's got a ton of caffeine in it. It's an energy drink level caffeine, right?
I do believe so.
It's still got at least 200.
Yep, 200.
Yeah,
the one that I have been drinking recently is Black Rifle Coffee. Has an actual energy drink. Yeah.
All right. I was trying to remember who mentioned it. It was you.
Yeah, it was me. Yeah, I've had. There's a couple empty cans of those next to me too. I've been drinking too many energy drinks recently.
Yeah.
I've also been running myself ragged. But today we got a fun one. So one of these last times, I think we were just talking about trilogies. I think maybe it was, and then
we had been talking about trilogies, but that kind of limits it. Yep. And it's always going to be like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm. So then we did franchises at one point, so we did a bunch of different stuff. So now, today, on the effing title, we are doing our top 5 underrated franchises. Now, this one's an interesting
And you're also going to... And this is also, if anyone watches this, they're going to be like, these aren't underrated, you're stupid.
Yes,
like,
so that's the thing. So this is underrated for us individually, first of all, right? Because I'm going to tell you right now, some of mine make no sense.
Okay.
I'm going to say it right now. There's people that are going to be looking at the background here and looking at the thumbnail, and will be just like, that makes no sense. Which, yet again...
I was looking for, obscure TV shows that are all connected through universes.
So I was looking at things that I don't think either get enough love, got enough love, or don't get enough respect. That's kind of what I was going with.
Yeah.
But it was interesting going through it, because there was a lot of them where, you start to look at it, and you're like, okay, there's bits and pieces, but it's not like the entire thing, right? Like that sort of thing. But then, like I said, this is an interesting one because it's more individually, for the person that it is. Like, there's probably a lot of people out there that, I wouldn't be surprised if there's someone out there that's like, Harry Potter's underrated, right? Which, it's like, okay, fair. Like, that's your opinion, Opinion's wrong, but that's your opinion.
I mean, look at Last of Us right now. Everyone hates The Last of Us right now.
Yep, exactly. So...
Understandably, though.
Yeah, obviously, I haven't seen
I saw a clip of a major death scene, and I was like, oh my god, it was not even close to the game. And
I've been seeing... That's the thing, is I haven't been seeing any clips, like major spoilers, but what I have been seeing is clips of side-by-side.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm watching it, and it's just like, I'm just gonna watch someone play the game.
It's all been spoiled for me anyways, so I never played them, but I still have an overall idea of stuff that happens.
I have a zero idea of what happens.
Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and that actually ties me into my first one. If can I go first?
Go first.
So my first one is Gears of War. My first underrated franchise.
You've had a heavy love for Gears of War lately.
Yeah, so when Halo Infinite came out, I wanted to do a big series. We hadn't really done a big series here on YouTube before, so I was like, I want to do a big series. So me and John were talking about it, and it's like Halo is immediately the first one because obviously Halo Infinite came out. But I'd already played through 1, 2, 3, 4, part of 5. It's like, do I really want to replay through everything? It's like... I
did at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah,
My buddy and I were playing through them. That was just us playing, though.
Yeah, so, it's one of those things, it's like, I already know what happens. I don't, most of the stuff all the games that I put out on YouTube, I have no clue what happens in these games.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to do something I haven't done before. Gears of War, I played 15 minutes of in college and said, fuck this game, and then turned it off. And then since playing it, it is incredible the amount of lore and love and dedication put into this series that, it always got overlooked by Halo, and what was the PlayStation one? There was a PlayStation one with it was a mask.
I know Army 2 was popular around that time, but
yeah, no, this was PlayStation's answer to Gears and Halo. But it was like
Killzone?
There we go, Killzone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so like it always felt like to me, it always felt like it was always a cluster with it, and it was never full shine with Gears. You
I
know,
just got the Killzone armor in Helldivers.
oh, there we go.
They gave it to me for free.
For free, baby. But yeah, so Gears is mine, especially with E-Day coming out right now. They
Yeah.
just did Reloaded Edition, which is just better graphics, basically, for the
Did that
first
come
Gears
out?
of War. It's coming out. It's coming out, I think, this summer.
It's coming out. Yeah.
And it's also going to be out on PlayStation as well, which is kind of cool because now PlayStation fans get to start playing it.
I saw the memes are like when a PlayStation player is going to lose their mind and it was like a guy hopping around walls and stuff.
Oh yeah, like
Multiplayer.
As soon as you try to do your first jump and you can't jump, you're gonna be mad for a little bit.
So shout out that was one of my first completed games on the 360, but we bugged it.
Oh really?
Because there was this like bug that you could get all the achievements.
Oh.
And
Okay.
I'll say it now. I don't care. This was 17 years ago.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say, like, the first one came
I was
out.
scared for a long. Yeah, this had been like 2008, and so there was the hardest achievement in the game, and it was like you were a real sweat, is if you got 10,000 kills in ranked.
Wow.
Have you played multiplayer yet?
No, I stayed away from multiplayer, just doing the story.
So multiplayer ranked is like almost like CS:GO, right, or Counter-Strike,
Okay.
where it's you have one life per round. So like a game can just go 3 rounds. So like say you get a kill a game, you know, like a kill a round, like you're only ending the game with like 0 to 6 kills. You know, it's
Yeah,
unless you're crushing it. So like you have to play a ton to get 10,000 kills.
that's insane.
And so it was in the achievement was literally called seriously.
Seriously.
Seriously, dot dot dot, and there's you got actually when you got the achievement, you got a gamer picture for your profile. So that was like big dick swinging
that's
around.
cool.
Put that on your profile.
That's cool.
And it was we glitched that, and actually I got like all the achievements for Gears 2 as well. But that was one of the first completed games I had on 360 was Gears of War
That's sick.
because of the bug.
It's one of those things like because of course, like I said, I just finished Gears 5.
Yeah.
Just finished the DLC for Gears 5. Found out there's more DLC that I haven't done that I'm probably going to go back through. But then it's like looking into it because I just want to know more about the series itself. Like, there's comics, there's books. They're talking about doing the film, which that's been going on for a while now. But then it's like there's an animated series that we're potentially getting to. There's like all this different things. So like it's just one of those things. Like I thought this was a solid start for my list. Just bang Gears of War.
Gears
Right
of
off
War. What is my 5? All right. Not really a full. It's still kind of going, kind of not. The Division.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people have played it. A lot of people have had thoughts about it.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about it as maybe a dead game.
Yeah.
They just came out with a new DLC for the Division 2, where they you go back to New York, the first game.
Yep.
So there's been a lot of talk. Like, the first game was awesome. I put so many hours in the first game. The PvP was kind of weird, but it's actually like one of the earliest extraction shooters. I mean, look at all this stuff happening now with extraction shooters.
Yeah, right. We're in that era now where that's the hot thing right now.
Yeah, like Marathon. You know, Marathon's maybe that's on life support already.
Yeah,
that's not even out yet.
That's one of those ones we should add to the dead games list at this point.
Marathon, and then I've been playing Gray Zone again because Gray Zone just came out with a huge update.
Okay, I was gonna say I saw you were playing that a couple nights ago. It said in Discord.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, dude's playing Gray Zone, and I was like
Yeah,
trying to
I'm
remember
playing
what
that.
it was, and I had to look it up again. I was like, oh, it's that one. Okay.
So that was like a Tarkov PvP PvE extraction.
I was gonna say
They're
that.
switching it more to like a kind of like a just a more. They're trying to push PvP more, so there's more PvP stuff, but still not working. Like I probably last night. Last night I got my first real fight, and it was like I had been playing for like 12 hours. Not yesterday, but overall I played for 12, and that was like the first fight we got into.
Yeah.
And the way it's set up, you know, you get in the fight, and then you just like you keep getting in a fight over and over again, trying to get your stuff, and then you lose your stuff. So it's like this weird attrition thing just to get something.
Yeah.
And like in the end, you're not even getting like the good gear because like it's all lost. So it's like it needs work. We got a couple fights. Like we actually so the fight we got was me and my one friend. It was a 2v5. We wiped them the first time. They came back right away because that's like how fast. Because they added these outposts you can spawn at, so you can get back to where you were within like minutes. So like we just kept getting in fights and fights and fights, and then we're like, I'm like, I've lost too much stuff. I'm not coming back. And he's like, yeah, because we like at that point we had died like 5 or 6 times. They had died a bunch of times. And then the same thing happened. We got in another fight in like the same spot. So it's not, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's so Division 2 is a lot of fun. I wish I'd done more of the expansions. They did stuff. I thought about going back, but now they keep talking about the Division 3. There was a canceled free-to-play that was supposed to come out like a year or two ago. That it was like one of those games. It's like it's coming out in a month, and then they canceled it. So
damn. I was gonna say Division 2 is one of the ones that you always hear about.
Yeah.
Like even like with me, like because my game knowledge for last couple years have been very small. So just I've been slowly, but like Division's always been one of those ones that I've always heard about from people, and it's like, oh well, the Division. So yeah, no, I dig it. I dig it. So my 4 is funny because there is a little bit of a backstory. If you're seeing the background right now, if you're not seeing the background, it's one of my picks and one of Denutte's picks. So Denutte's pick was different originally. It was originally my number 4 pick, which was Austin Powers, because Denutte auto-corrected. So I'm going Austin Powers. After looking at it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, no, Austin Powers is a very underrated series. From 1997 to 2002, or let's say 2005, I'll even say.
Yeah, when did Gold Member come out?
Period. Gold Member came out in 02. Yeah. Okay.
Like that's like a big thing. Like millennials, Gen X, that was like a huge thing for that generation. Whereas like Gen Z, I think you'd be a hard time finding a Gen Z who's seen those movies.
Probably. I mean, it just there was so many, just like everything. I love gold. Fat bastard.
Me.
Yeah. There was just.
How about no?
How
Scott?
about no? There's just so many good things from it, and like
all the fat bastard stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I want my baby back.
Yeah,
see,
so
everyone that's listening to this, if you've seen this Awesome Power series, you know exactly what we're talking about, and it's amazing because I didn't even wasn't even on my radar to think about, and then you said it, and it brought back all the memories, and I'm like, yes, 100% underrated.
So that's like kind of part of my list is like this. There's a lot of stuff that was like huge at the time, but it has not like had any staying power. Because like you look at like Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings came out in 03. That was the last one that came out, and that trilogy is still like talked about all the time.
Oh
that's still like so like
there's the
it just hasn't had this weird the staying power that like some other things had, but it's had such a a huge chokehold, like fembots, everything you can imagine, like because it was like like look at. It's a spoof on James Bond. James Bond's still a thing. That's still popular. Kind of. I don't know. That's kind of the weird spot right now. But
the last one came out in 02. If they made a 4th movie in 2025, it would sell.
He's old now, which I feel bad saying. He is he's got to be in his 60s now. He is old.
Let's take a look. Mike Myers is 62.
Yeah. So. That was my guess. Like that, he was like probably in his he was in his like 40s when like the third one came out. It's not that he's old then, but like, but also that could be funny too to have like a geriatric spy trying to like hold on, and then like you have him like with these like new generation kids. They're like, what are you doing?
Well, also here it says,
or you have them with like the British like what do they call the British gang roadmen? You have them like up against some like roadmen.
I was just reading because like right here they're saying like there's been talks of a 4th one.
Yeah,
which I mean like
you bring Beyonce back.
I think it would be interesting to see a 4th one where like you said he's old, he's trying to keep doing it, and then just out of nowhere just kind of have like his son appear.
And they could just keep trying to cancel him for being like such an absurd bastard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm all
so
in. Yeah,
he keeps trying to hit on young ladies, and they're like, dude, you're a groomer.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm wearing. That's my 4 of those Awesome Powers. Like I said, it just as soon as you said it, it was like yeah, done. Like that's just too good.
British. So, so my 4 is Skate.
Oh, okay.
So Skate is kind of in this weird spot right now because like again, the last skate game that came out was in 2009 or 2010.
Damn, it's been that long.
It's been that long. 2010, May 2010.
Damn.
So first release is 2007. So this was like EA's like top like peak of like releasing stuff like Rock Band, Guitar. I don't know, they didn't do Guitar Hero. That was Activision, but like they kind of lumped it together with these games. Like, they started when they stopped releasing games. They're like, we can't release games every year. Like, you know, like Rock Band's played out, Skate's played out, but like they still do like FIFA and
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, we can't do a new Guitar Hero every year. Here's Madden.
Yeah, exactly. So like Skate 4, I've been playing here and there because I'm a tester, which is not like that's not a secret. Like,
yeah,
it's something I could say. I think, right?
Yeah, as long as you didn't sign an NDA. I mean,
maybe.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay. Super early access. I mean, you could see me playing it on Xbox. So, like, I played it on my Xbox.
Yeah, so,
I imagine it might not pop up like that. Who knows? I don't know. But
either way,
it's just playing game. So I played it on PC. I've played it on Xbox. It's just, I guess I can't talk about it. But either way, so it's so Skate. Yeah, I don't know. It's Skate is. And the thing is, like, Skate 3 to me, everyone loves Skate 3.
Yeah.
Like, most people, that's their favorite. Like, if you talk to 75% of people, that Skate 3 is, like, the best.
Okay.
But, like, Skate 2 and 3, I think, are leaps and bounds better than Skate 3. And, like, it's very close between Skate 1 and Skate 2. Because Skate 1 is, like, it's, like, as realistic as you get as far as skate games.
Okay.
As these Skate series games, not skateboard games. Because, like, Session and Skater XL are out there, and those are more sim-based games. I like Skater XL more than Session, but I'm still not really partial to either of them. But like, I don't know, Skate. I've put like hundreds of hours in the first game. Second game, not as many. I probably have more hours in 3 than 2, because actually, my Xbox 8 my Skate 2 disc at one point. So, but I have it now again because they re-released it on digital. So,
all right.
But so I Skate series, because it's like my friends are like, I have a buddy who I play games with a lot, and he's like, I don't like sports games, and I'm like, it's not really a sports game, because like he lumps it in as the same thing as like Madden and FIFA.
I consider it its own separate thing.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, sure, it's a sport, but it's not like, So that's the end of my number 4. The last of my video games for that list.
Well, so I went from game to movie, and I'm going to TV.
Yep, I have one TV as well.
Okay,
so no, kind of more than that. Never mind.
So I have one TV, and it's funny because it kind of ties into 2 too, but I'm not gonna hit that yet. I'm just gonna. But this one we've actually talked about before. You and me have. We've talked about this on the effing title. We have a whole episode about this. It's the Arrowverse.
I knew you were going to do it.
Yep.
I was going to text you, but I was like, no, we'll bring it. I knew it was going to be Arrowverse.
It was hard for me not to put this on here because it was from 2012 to 2023. It's an easy way to get people into DC because there's a lot of things that are morphed for the TV, morphed for the way they do things that aren't fully the way the characters are. But it's a nice introduction to people because, like, I remember there was a couple characters that got released. Like,
Arrowverse is like everything, right?
Yeah, Arrowverse is the entire. I mean, Arrowverse, CWverse, it's the entire. Like,
yes, okay.
So it's Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, Batwoman, Vixen, Freedom Fighters, The Ray, and then it says miscellaneous, and I do consider these. It's Constantine and The Flash from 1990. I like
Constantine. Constantine was really good.
Yes.
Black Lightning was awesome.
Yes.
And I watched The Flash and Arrow.
Yeah.
A little bit of Legends of Tomorrow. Couldn't get into it.
Legends was a weird one because like they were going one direction with it, and then they took just a complete goofy route with it instead. So
I felt like that's what happened with The Flash too.
Yeah.
The timelines up really like screwed me up.
It was one of those things where eventually just like it felt like they were almost running out of stuff to do to an extent.
My issue with the Arrowverse at times was like, because there were so many shows and they were so intertwined with each other, that something would happen and completely change the canon of the show.
Yes.
But if you didn't watch that crossover of the other show, then you kind of missed out on it.
Well,
You're like, what's going on?
I remember when our buddy Fedge, we got him into it, and I remember when I was sending him, I'm like, okay, this is how you need to watch these, and it was a nightmare writing the watch order because you would have to tell him, you'd have to be like, okay, watch Arrow season 4, 1 through 7. Then Flash season 3, 1 through 7. Then Supergirl season 1, 1 through 5. And then you're going to go back to Arrow, watch 8, go back to Flash, watch 8, go back to Supergirl, watch 7. But then you want to watch Legends of Tomorrow episode 1, because then that's the final episode of the crossover. And then you can go back to Flash and watch this all the way through to here. But then you got to stop again because there's a crossover with just him and Arrow. So, and it was like, it was a nightmare.
It's also tough. These aren't short episodes. These are like hour-long episodes.
Yeah, so it was one of those things. But like, this was also a time as well where I want people to remember, especially the early days, like the early days of this. There wasn't Marvel. The only Marvel one was the Shield show, and that was not really well received. The Shield.
I actually liked that show to a point. Then it got super weird at a point too.
I really liked it up until they were like, oh, you need to go watch these movies now. Because they were tying episodes to movies, and that was when I was like, "You've lost me." Like, no, I'm good. Like,
yeah.
But like, so for a while there, because it was always that thing of it's like, oh, well, Marvel's beating DC in this, and DC's beating that and that. For a long little period of time, DC was dominating television because of the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
And like I said, for an intro, if you're just trying to get into DC and you want to see what it's kind of like, this isn't a terrible way to get involved into DC.
I know it's about Marvel, but Andor is still like, that was peak. They finished Andor, and that's like the new one. They call it the Pequels.
Oh, the Pequels. I like it
because it's the 2 seasons and then the movie. So
yeah,
it is so perfect. Like, I'm getting chills thinking about it now. I hate to be that guy because it's. If you don't know Star Wars, you will still love this show.
See, that's what's up.
Which is not like, even if you don't like Star Wars, like, it'd be hard not to like this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, it plays out. The people call it too slow, but it's not. That's how, like, it's a build up. That's how like good writing works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, that's my thing.
I mean, look at the one you're showing. You show like the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
The 4-hour Justice League movie's like perfect, but it's 4 hours, you know. So it's like you are sitting there for 4 hours, but it's such good content.
Yeah, when you get done with it, you're like, okay, don't.
Yeah. So DC.
Yeah.
DC does some things really well.
Yes.
Does not Wonder Woman. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's why I got though with my 3 is the Arrowverse, because like I said, I just think that it was for the time, especially the early years. I want to say,
dude, Arrow. I watched like from the start. I was like, this show looks so cool. Mm-hmm. There's nothing on TV like this.
It was also the thing I find fascinating with Arrow is that it's very difficult to have a season bomb 4 years in, and then have the 5th season be an absolute banger of a season to the point where it's like...
That was the writer's strike, though, right?
No, so that was... They were... it may have been the writer's strike as well.
The first writer's strike.
But it was also the thing where it was... it's like, my name is Oliver Queen, I've been stuck on an island for 5 years. So there was that. So no matter what, the 5th season was going to be a banger because now it's tying in all the way back to the beginning. But also, the first 2 seasons, it kind of screwed the whole thing up because the first 2 seasons were setting up, this is who Oliver Queen is, this is who Arrow is. Season 2 was, you remember Deathstroke, who we talked about the entire first season? Now here he is in full in Season 2. So it's 2 full seasons of getting you ready for one of the coolest villains.
And that guy who played Deathstroke.
Manu Bennett, so. Manu Bennett's dope because he was Crixus in Spartacus.
Okay, the
Stars
HBO one.
Yeah.
Or Stars. Well,
yeah, Stars. But then, so it went from there, and then it was like, then we went to Ra's al Ghul, and it's like, okay, now we're kind of getting into Batman territory. And then
he's a great Ra's al Ghul too.
Yeah. And then we went into Damien Dark, and it was like, okay, we're doing magic now. Like, it was a weird, just kind of like 2 really banger episodes, and then just a slow descent, and then a crash out in Season 4. But then Season 5, though, like I said, I would argue Season 5 is just as good as Season 2. But that's also me. Like, I love the villain.
I went back and watched it. It was great.
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul, Australian actor. He's like in this show called Mr. In Between. I don't know if you ever checked that out. It's
Mr.
an
In Between.
FX
It
show.
sounds familiar.
It's super good. 2 seasons, maybe 3. I can't remember. But it's
I've seen
he's
stuff
like,
from this. Yeah.
it goes. I've seen him on TikTok a bunch, but
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul is kind of like a recurring character in the show where he's like a bad guy.
Okay.
But like, so the whole show is like this guy. He's like a really bad guy. He's like a protector. Like he's a enforcer. He collects money for mob stuff. He is an assassin at times, but he has like this weird code where he's a bad guy, but he's not like a bad guy.
The last thing I'll say before I give it to you for your 3 is the one positive with the Ra's al Ghul thing was when they fight on the mountaintop, and it's one of the coolest things. If you ever get a chance to see just one scene, go watch that, because what it is they start at there's music playing in the background like there is in most of these shows and everything. There's music, they're on the mountaintop, they're getting the duel set up, and as soon as the duel starts, they cut all external audio, so it's just the sound on the mountain, basically the sound of the grunts and the sound of the swords tinging off of each other, and that's it. And it adds such a weird kind of like you lock in to the fight. Like if you're doing something else, suddenly everything else kind of goes away because it's just all that background noise gone. And it's such a cool moment because it's like you fully get immersed in it immediately. As soon as that kicks in and all the background noise is gone, boom.
Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul, baby.
So my 3 was Pirates. So that's another one that came out like 2001.
2000, yeah, in that range. So we were just talking.
2003. Another 2003 thing. Maybe like I was peak like everything. I just loved everything when I was 12 years old. So Pirates, because I saw that in theaters, and that. So that went from 2003 to 2017. I didn't realize that. I mean, it's almost 8 years ago. I thought it was further than that. But the issue, like, you know, like the first trilogy of Pirates, people could be like, that could be like a top trilogy on its own.
Oh, 100%.
Because like that was 2003, then 2006 to 2007. So it's like that's one of those movies they filmed back to back. They were like Lord of the Rings. So like we gotta take a cue from Lord of the Rings and film back to back.
It definitely felt like, and this is just because of course I don't know. Word like that straight off. I don't know. It felt like they did the first one. It was just gonna be a one-off sort of thing. It killed, and they're like, okay, what do we do now then? And that's why we get 2 and 3, and like you said, back to back year. July 7, 2006, May 25th, 2007. That means they went back to back. They had a full story, full script, full everything. And it's this. Let's put it like this: the CGI on Davy Jones from 2006 and 2007 is better than 90% of the CGI today.
Well, even like actually, I started watching the first one like a couple weeks ago. I want to go back. I want to see how the CGI looks on the skeleton pirates. I think I imagine it still holds up because at that time, that was like, wow, what am I watching?
Yeah,
like,
no, it's not bad.
There's nothing like that.
Yeah, it's not bad. It definitely is. Like, there's with most things, right? There's always better, but no, it still holds up. Like the CGI in this still holds up.
Because it's not like because at this time they weren't like Marvel. They weren't doing like 90% CGI, 10% practical. They were doing like 80% practical, 20% CGI, even 10% CGI. So it's like that's like what people like they were going back to now is that like if you do the whole thing CGI, they're just like there's this like suspension of disbelief where it's like, you know, you look at like Jurassic Park that came out in the 90s, you know, like that movie still holds up.
Yeah, like I sent you a picture. It's of Jack as a skeleton, and I'd say that still holds up.
Yeah,
because and you can tell like they're doing a very specific style to it, but yeah, no, that holds up.
You would have these 3 and they're awesome, and then you go to the next 2 on Stranger Tides, and then they came out with another one in 2017.
Yeah,
I liked On Stranger Tides, but the thing is, I can't tell you what happened.
Yeah, all I know is Mermaid, Javier Bardem. Those are the 2 things I can tell you about those. I can tell you a lot about the first 3.
That's the second one. Yeah. So the second, yeah.
You know, but that's all I got though for those ones. It's like, is Mermaid, Nightwing's in it, In the fourth one?
Yes, he is. Bwenton Thwaites,
Winton Thwaites.
another Australian. Him and Ra's al Ghul are in a movie together.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, in Australia. And Ewan McGregor, one of those guys. Good movie. Anyways,
it's unfortunate because it's the first three. The first three are so good, and then it seems like they didn't have a true idea of what to do, so they just did They just did a bullshit sequel, and then they just did another bullshit sequel. That's how it feels to me.
So like you lost like the whole cast from like the first three going into the fourth, and you're like, this is just going to be a Jack Sparrow tale.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, they were like, okay, we got to bring some people back because I think
Geoff Rush is in it.
He's in it, and I think briefly Orlando Bloom's in it. I could be wrong about that.
That's a great question. I don't know. Let's see if I scroll down here. Does it show me the typical bullshit where it says, like, here's all the actors and which movies they're in?
I'm just going to go straight to Orlando Bloom's. 20. Yes, he was in 20. He was in that one.
Okay, interesting.
But he wasn't like a big part of it, but he was in it. But he was not in the 2011 one. He was actually in the Three Musketeers in 2011.
Yeah, so Geoff Rush has been in all of them. Joshua Gibbs.
Yeah, okay, we had those. Yeah, we had the recurring.
And then in the and then like you said though, like the guy that played Marty Mulroy and Murtaugh, or Marty Mulroy Murtaugh, which was like the three.
The pirates.
Yeah, they were in the first three, weren't in the fourth, were in the fifth. So like you said, they're coming back. Keira Knightley apparently was in the fifth one too.
I think it showed them like briefly. So I know, I'm pretty sure Johnny Depp's been offered another movie after the Amber Heard stuff, and they offered him like an absurd amount of money. I think he said no, but I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But I know like it was like one of those things that like they was cleared, and they were like, dude, we screwed this guy over. We gotta do this. That's how I felt about it.
Yes, it says in March 2024, Bruckheimer stated that the sixth film would be a reboot. Despite this, 2 months later, hoped to see Johnny Depp return. In addition, he's now writing National Treasure 3. There's 2 different pirate movies in development. The first one is a reboot.
They're doing National Treasure 3?
That's what it says here. It says they're writing it anyway.
Oh, I almost put that on my list.
The first is a reboot that he intends to produce with scriptwriter. The second is the Margot Robbie film that will be penned by someone else. I stated that they hoped that both films would be made, and noted that he thought Disney would be receptive to the Robbie-led film. In regards to the reboot, he confirmed that it would not follow characters from previous films, and stated that he hoped Depp would make an appearance. And then in December of 2024, a Variety article mentioned that Jerry Bruckheimer was developing 2 separate scripts, one of which is featuring Johnny Depp. So, take that all with...
It's tough because, like, you know, like that's why I brought this one up, underrated, because, like, no one's talked about it since these came out. That was another huge franchise at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing, like, 2 and 3. I saw them twice in theaters.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember just the character of Davy Jones is just such an incredible character. Yeah. And that's the thing for me is like now that we've talked about it first, because when you first said it, I was like what are you talking about? But now it's like it makes sense though, because it's like the first 3 are so strong. The 4 and 5 just it kind of puts almost a sour taste in your mouth.
It's sour, it soured the franchise. Yeah. So like, you know, it's kind of like a thing that it's not nearly as bad, but it's the kind of thing that happened with Game of Thrones. Because like, look again, a bunch of like people loved Game of Thrones, and now like everyone's like, Game of Thrones, you know?
I mean, you look at the desk read or the table read, where like the eunuch there, I forgot what his name is there, but when he finds out that he's dying, spoilers if you haven't seen it, right? Yeah, he's so pissed. He's just kind of like, really? Like, that's what we're doing? Cool, whatever. Like, you know. And you can tell in the table read, like, but, all right, so my number 2.
One more thing about that is, there was, I'm bringing it back to Andor.
Yeah.
So you know how, there's like, if they do this for a lot of stuff, a lot of shows, movies, they'll have like a picture of a horse being drawn, right?
Yes.
And so like one season will be really good, one's like a stick drawing, and that's like they did that was a big thing with Game of Thrones. Andor was like the best drawing of a horse you ever seen.
It was like
Like
the
all
horse on
three.
the horse on
Season 1,
fire
2,
sort of
3.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, horse on fire. That was like Andor. So like that, and then Game of Thrones was like the last season was like a stick drawing.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, yeah, it's wild how bad that
and that's
got.
you could do the same thing with Pirates because like Pirates 1, 2, 3, amazing horse.
Yeah.
4, bad horse. 5, a little bit better of a horse, but still a bad horse.
Yeah.
Javier Bardem was really good.
He was. I mean, it's
So he's yeah. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's Javier. Like I was gonna say,
it's
yeah,
not
like,
a shocker. Not a shocker. Sorry, you're number 2.
So my number 2 is also the background image. My number 2 is the Snyderverse, and I'm wording it like that too.
Okay.
I'm not wording it as the DC Extended Universe, which was what also people were calling it. I'm labeling this as the Snyderverse itself. Now, this is also interesting because the Snyderverse it kind of depends on Snyder fans. And, we both like Zack Snyder movies. I think I love the series of DC movies he did. I think you are like most of them.
I like him. Yeah.
So I went to look. I was trying to find out to see kind of like what other people said, and Zack himself has said that the Snyderverse is his 3 Superman movies.
Yeah.
So it's Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I love Man of Steel.
Yes.
I love Man. I didn't like Batman vs Superman until the Snyder cut.
Until the 30-minute extra cut there. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like it until that, and then I really liked it. And then I liked Justice League. I thought it was very funny and fun.
Yeah.
And then the Snyder cut was not funny, but it was very good.
Yes.
It was different. It completely changed the tone of the movie. Everything about it. Like Aquaman was just a different character.
Yeah, he's just like he doesn't want to be a part of anything.
There's one scene that they changed for sure that I preferred the normal version better. Is when they were on I think Batman's plane and he was accidentally like leaning against Wonder Woman's whip.
Yeah.
That scene, I thought that was really funny because I thought if they kept that in the Snyder cut, that was like really goes against it. It would actually show a big development for him because of like who he is as a person. Not development, but like how he's like this tough and like runaway guy. But if they kept that in, they're like, oh no, this man has feeling. He has love. He's funny.
So this says some fans consider Suicide Squad 2016 a part of the Snyderverse along with Wonder Woman 17.
Yeah.
And then there's debate on whether Aquaman does from 2018. So for me personally, the Suicide Squad the 2016 one, I think that does. It sticks with the same overall tone. And I think we've talked about this before. A lot of that movie was just butchered in editing. Because there's a really good movie there. The main story is great. Visuals are great. But the editing of that is just so bad. And I think that fits the overall tone. Wonder Woman 2017, fantastic movie. I think that fits. Aquaman, I think, does fit to an extent that the fact of it is a little bit more lighthearted, right? It does retcon and change a couple things from Snyder's original takes on Aquaman himself. However, though, it was also around about the same time that he was working on Justice League, and so he would have been talking with James Wan during this to an extent. So it's not like a complete tonal change, right? But I'm putting this as underrated because, like I said, I think that just those 3 themselves, Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, the Ultimate Edition, and Zack Snyder's Justice League are 3 of the best. I think that's 3 of the best comic book adaptations out there.
The ones, Batman versus Superman. This one I always liked was, they've been fighting. Batman's been trying to kill Superman, and then Wonder Woman shows up. I think Wonder Woman's fantastic in Batman versus Superman.
Yes.
For one thing. As I said, I didn't like Wonder Woman. I didn't like the second movie. I liked the first movie a lot.
The second one, I remember us talking about that when the second one first came out, and it was like, the day it came out, I'm like, that was dope, and you're like, wait a week and watch it again. And then I waited a week and watched it again, and I was like, okay, I see exactly what you're saying now, and I hate you for telling me this, but...
Yeah, so, not dig. I knew you were mad at me because how much I was saying I hated it, and then you were like,
Yeah, it's like, I can't fully be against him now, like...
But, like, when they're fighting, they kind of, the whole Martha thing happens.
Yep.
And then she shows up and is fighting, and they're like, And one of them was like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "I thought that was with you.
Yeah,
I thought she was with you."
She with you? I thought she was with you. You know, yeah, that it's such like, and that's more like that's the thing is like you said, that's a fun scene, right?
Yeah.
That's a very Snyder comedies thing. It's very
Yes.
tongue in cheek. It's very just it's not over the top. And I think a lot of his stuff gets taken out of context, or it gets completely butchered for like how silly or stupid it is. Like the Martha line. I think the Martha line is taken so wildly out of everything because it's one of those things where, and I started doing this after that happened because it was around about the time that Civil Friendship was coming out with Marvel, their Captain America Civil War, and every one of the trailers was, "I'm your friend." No, well, he's my friend too. Then we're not friends. Civil disagreement, civil friend. I started doing that sort of shit to people. Just to do like, if you're gonna do the Martha shit, then I'll just I'll do it right back to you guys, because it's one of those things where 90% of people probably didn't even put it together. The one that both the moms' names were Martha, but two, the fact of the entire movie, Batman's dealing with the loss of his mom and dad. Like the entire movie, you see that it's still bugging him. He's been he's probably in his 40s, maybe 30s, late 30s, early 40s in the movie, you think? Because he's been Batman, Bruce.
Yeah.
Because he's been fighting for 20 years. That's the main line that I always go back to.
Yeah, definitely in his 40s, because I know I saw an interview the other day. They're like, "Would you do Batman?" And like,
he's
either he was saying he's too old, or other people are saying he's too old.
Yeah.
And
other people are saying it, and he's like, anything's possible. And then he just like walks off. I'm like, great answer. Leave it there.
I think Ben still looks great. I actually think Ben's like happy for once.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He's going through his Latina phase. He's loving his Latinas. He's speaking Spanish everywhere.
Yeah, see, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. When Ben's
he's in a
winning,
new
we're
movie
winning.
coming out. He's doing stuff for it. I can't remember them. That's right, and I want to see that. I didn't see it in theaters, so.
Yes. But yeah, no. So
big time.
Like I said, I think that I think that the hate that it gets is more fabricated than anything, and people like.
I think it's like a Marvel v DC thing.
It's a big thing of that, and then it's like as soon as someone picks a strand, like the Martha thing, they just attach themselves and lash themselves just to that one singular strand, and then just try to bully you around it, or like like, oh, there's too much slow motion. Have you not seen any Zack Snyder movie?
It's gonna look beautiful.
Yeah, it's like, this. It's like, what do you want, bro? Like,
yeah.
So, but this is my two though. I like Snyderverse is one of my favorite things, and so I am, like I said, I'm leaving it mainly at those three, with the inclusion of potentially Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman. Those are kind of on the tilter, but it's mainly
not the James Gunn stuff.
No, not the Jesus Christ. No, not that dog shit. Yeah. That's my two. My
number two, which we have also talked about on this podcast ad nauseum, is Jackass franchise.
Okay, fair. Love it.
Because we've mentioned that, I've mentioned this before. Again, it's like, it's again of the times. Like the first one came out, I also think in 2003. So maybe I just love being 12 years old. It might have been 2001 was the show.
I mean, also back then it was a lot of. I mean, because think about it like this as well, right? That shit you can see people doing like Jackass style things now on TikTok.
Still today, yeah.
But back then, that shit was new.
That was new. And it was also like, we've always had not always had, but like, especially like late 90s into the early 2000s, we had turned into like this weird hyper masculinity thing.
Mm-hmm.
It had always been there, but it was like this violent, like.
Now the media had kind of started to slowly start taking off a little bit more.
So like, especially like, all right, like this is another, like look at like Woodstock 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see have you ever seen all the stuff for that? Or 99? I think it was 99. There's a whole documentary about it.
Yeah.
But it was like this huge thing, and like Limp Bizkit played, and it was like this huge, they had to shut it down. It was this whole thing. People were getting like messed up at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was like this weird hyper masculinity where like men were like almost like going against the like, like we are on top, we are like above women, like what we need to take back like our masculinity. And then here comes Jackass, like these goofy guys who like aren't really good at anything, they're very creative, smart, like guys, like at their core, like at the end of the day, you're like, oh, these guys just hurting themselves. But like they had this whole magazine. They did like they were like writers,
Mhm.
like Jeff Tremaine like was like in charge of a magazine, like a Big Brother magazine. It was a skate and like I still listen to Chris Pontius podcast, and it's like he's just like this super art guy. He's like creative. He just writes articles. He's like does art. It's I don't know. It's like these not like what you think, and like it almost like pushed, like nowadays especially, and then coming up, like it's funny to be gay with your friends.
Yeah.
That was not a thing before Jackass. I think Jackass really pushed like this like this sentiment that like it's okay to be like feminine at times.
It really it kind of just it opened the door it's like to a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like there's a lot of the different things that it's just like it wasn't too well known or too out there to do these things, or like it wasn't like a massive thing to do a lot of these things. But as soon as they started doing it, it's like, oh, this is actually okay for us to kind of to okay.
Yeah. And it was like you would be like, I'm this guy, like I'm Bam, or I'm Johnny, or I'm Steve-O. It was like this whole thing. And then I really don't know if like young kids are like really know Jackass. If they do, it's like people who like followed like Tyler the Creator and stuff, and like Suicide Squad, or not Suicide, Loiter Squad.
Yeah.
But like I'm looking Jackass the show 2000 2001, Jackass the movie 2002, number 2 2006, Jackass 3D 2010 2011, and then Jackass Forever came out in 22. And then like peak COVID, that was like one of the first movies that was in theaters again during COVID. And so I don't know, I just think it was like special.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it from like, especially because like you said, Bam, like Bam had his own TV show. So like, we had Bam, we had Jackass, like, we had there's so much of those.
Yeah, you had the Wild Boys, you had Viva La Bam.
That was it, Viva La Bam. I was gonna say I couldn't remember the name of it.
I guess they had a backyard barbecue.
What?
They did. It was a special.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But I mean, like,
they had Steve-O, the Rise and Demise, the Demise and Rise. Yeah. I don't know if you ever saw that. That was like a really good like
that was tough.
Drug like addiction thing, and like he's been sober since then. He's still sober.
Yeah, that's awesome to see.
Like the tribute to Ryan Dunn, which was super sad too, and then yeah, I don't know. I just think it was a special thing. And there's Bad Grandpa. Bad Grandpa was pretty good.
Bad Grandpa was funny. It was revolutionary in an extent at the time. Like today's day and age, like this kids are just doing it's like, oh, I'm just trying to get clout. And it's like back then, it's like I'm just doing this because it's funny and I can make my buddy laugh.
And I can like show my friends on my VHS later.
Yeah, exactly.
So, because even like that's how CKY was like a whole separate thing from Jackass. So they were putting out videos before, and like those VHSs are like holy grails. Like those are going for a ton of money online. And so like that was like something they were doing, and then like they hooked together with the Jackass. So it was like the Jackass crew and this Westchester, PA crew. And I think Bam's sober again, and like I guess he's cool. They just did a post. I saw this post this week where Bam was talking about how much he loved Jackass Forever.
Oh, okay.
And before that, like he was like, I'm going to sue these guys, screw these guys for pushing me out. And I think he did a 180. He's like, it was great. I don't think he's going to say that like,
yeah,
I shouldn't have been in it, but like, but still, it was. There's also a video game which I never played. Where you did stunts, crazy stunts. So Jackass my number 2. I keep bringing up Jackass, but Jackass.
Yeah, no, I dig it. So my number 1 is old.
Okay.
My number 1 is originally a book series. And as soon as I say it, I feel like you're going to completely agree with me. Now, you may not have read the books, but you will know of the books. It's The Chronicles of Narnia.
Okay.
I think this is one of
I did not read the books. I saw the movie. I did see the movies.
So I read the books when I was a kid. I actually still have... Yes, I do. Hold up a second. I have here... Now, mind you, there's also a sticker on this from when I was a child, because I am a child. So I have an English fudge sticker logo. But like this,
that's fun stuff.
Like this is the original, like the Chronicles of Narnia, C.S. Lewis. Like, man,
how many books are there?
There is 7 books.
Okay.
Yeah. So like if
And
I
they
can,
did three. Was the Dawn Treader the last one they did?
yeah. So they did. I actually have it up on here because it's one of those things where it's funny because it's never really in order. So they did Lion the Witch and Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So yeah, so like this version here that I have, the Magician's Nephew. Let's see here. This is from 1955. That's just first published. Maybe that's not when this one was published then. How do I find out when this one was published then? Either way, this is a really old freaking book. But yeah, no. So I have the whole series, and it's one of those things where it's like growing up in England, I read this. This was just a part of like it, right? Like, so I read through it. I loved it. It was great, and it's one of those things where it's also interesting because the way that it's done. If I can go back up here and find it. Right here. So the reading order is always.
Is that up for argument?
Yes. So because the way that they are published, and this is a crazy thing too. Each one of these, right, DeNutte, was one a year.
Okay.
How about that?
That's crazy.
So 1950 to 1956, one a year. However, though, and this is where it gets interesting. So it was published like that. So it was Lion the Witch and Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, Silver Chair, Horse and His Boy, The Magician's Nephew, and The Last Battle. However, which way do we want to do it? Do we want to do it internal chronology from Earth standpoint or the internal chronology from Narnia standpoint? Because that all changes the reading order. Because, like, for instance, I just read you the reading order when they were published. The reading order here is The Magician's Nephew is the first one. Because that is Narnia year one.
So it's like a precursor to the kids going in the wardrobe.
Yes, and this is from 1955. Where The Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe was made in 1950.
So it's funny because I was thinking it's got to be an old series, but it takes place during World War II, right?
1950s?
Because the kid, I know, I only saw the movie, so I didn't read the books. I think the movie goes with them going to hide outside the city in the countryside to get away from the war.
So on Earth, it's in the 1940s.
Yeah, so I think so that the whole thing is like they go to this house with a wardrobe during World War II to escape the bombing of the city.
Because in 1950 it says significant events included the start of the Korean War, the Great Brinks robbery, and the first year of the 1950s decades, which was marked by post-World War II growth and the beginning of the Cold War. So so it would have been if it takes place on Earth in the 1940s, then it would have been literally World War II era. Yeah. So, but it's one of those things like I said, like, so for me, like, I grew up with this. I read this. I saw there was a TV series they showed in my school when I was a kid.
Okay.
And then I saw the first movie. I'm not gonna lie, didn't see the second two movies because it's one of those things where I don't. It's just.
So, fun fact about the third one.
Mm-hmm.
Will Poulter's first movie.
Oh, interesting.
Eyebrows. Yeah.
Eyebrows.
And he was a real piece of shit in that movie. So they really solidified him, and he was like a child.
Yes, this is one of those ones that's like I said, like you can see just kind of like this whole thing. I keep trying to find out if I can find an actual date on this. This was £13. This cost me 14 quid. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, so it's like
$100, $150 now.
Yeah, watch it, something like that. And it's got a fucking stupid ass fudge logo on it. Because I'm young Husky. But yeah, like it's one of those things that I think this is one of the best franchises. However, it's such a massive undertaking. It's almost to the same level as Lord of the Rings. And if you remember, around about the same time Lord of the Rings was popping off, that's when the movie rights for this started to come out. And
so I think it was that was the post Harry Potter thing. They're like, oh, we got to scoop up all these fantasy novels to make a movie for.
Exactly.
And they were not like Aragon.
Yeah, because this is 2005 was the first one. Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe.
They just canceled Wheel of Time, which is
I just saw that in season 3, right?
Oh, yeah.
Season 3, 4?
I don't know. I tried reading within the last couple months. I tried reading the first book, and I couldn't get. I'm gonna have to start. I want to restart it. Couldn't get into it. It's yeah.
So that's my one though, because I still believe that if done correctly, which of course it's the undertaking of undertakings, right?
Yeah.
especially with some of the connotations, some of the different story plots, some of the different, the ties to Christianity to an extent with some of the different themes and stuff. This is an undertaking, a massive undertaking.
Christianity is big in England?
Ah,
I'm kidding.
I think so, but I don't remember. I just know Aslan is Jesus. He's a metaphor for Jesus, I do believe.
He's a metaphor for Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So, like I said, it's massive. I think this would be a massive undertaking to get a series done.
I think they were talking about a series for it.
I think they're trying to get a series done for it at Netflix, but I could be wrong about it. Netflix, 2019. Oh, through this and this, it was announced that Emma Mackey, Daniel Craig, Meryl Streep, and Carey Mulligan have entered negotiations to join the cast. Which also, I do remember seeing that because out of all those names, guess which one of them is Aslan?
Carey Mulligan. That's right.
Meryl Streep.
It's a woman, though. I knew it was a woman.
No, Aslan was originally done by Liam Neeson, I do believe.
I know that. Like, now that you say that, I remember them talking about a woman playing them, and they're like,
and that's been a big.
I can't do that, but they're like, but it's also like not really a male character. It's like an ambiguous character.
Yeah, it's a lion. I mean, it's that thing of it's a lion. It has a mane. So obviously, then it is a male lion, like that. It's one of those things. Like it is what it is. But that's my one. I think that it is a massively underrated franchise from the standpoint of the books more than anything. I think the books themselves, the story it tells, that I still remember bits and pieces of from when I was a kid. So I'm old as dirt now. If it was like so, but yeah.
My number one.
Okay, excited.
Firefly.
Okay.
Okay.
I like it.
Again, I looking at the time frame. I'm like, maybe I just loved everything when I was 12 years old. I didn't see this until I was an adult, though.
Yeah, I didn't see this until like a couple years ago. To be honest with you. So.
Did you watch Firefly?
Yep, I didn't watch the movie. I will say that though. I'll put a stamp on that. I have not seen the movie. I know there is a movie. This is supposed to tie things up. Have not seen the movie.
I saw the movie first.
Oh.
That was the first thing I saw. I went and saw it in theaters, not knowing that it was a show.
Interesting.
I just thought it was a cool looking movie. I mean, crazy cast. I mean, Alan Tudyk. This was like one of his like first like big roles, and he's like in everything now.
This is a stereotypical Whedon cast. If you look at the cast,
yeah, and Nathan Fillion, you know. So like, I was laughing because I'm like, I knew you probably weren't gonna love this because it's like Joss Whedon, James Gunn, all like together. Big tie-in and Guardians and stuff, and but so if you've never seen or nor heard of Firefly, it's a Western set far in the future in space.
Yes,
and it's essentially like a Western, and it's not, and it's like what do they call them? Like a horror of the week, the story of the week.
Yeah, like villain of the week sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that. If you've seen Cowboy Bebop, I'd argue that it's like kind of similar to Cowboy Bebop in a way where it's like it has this overall arching story that trying to connect, and it's like because Cowboy Bebop is like another space western. So there's only 12 episodes.
There's something like that.
14 episodes. Yeah. One season, 14 episodes got canceled by Fox. They talked about bringing it back here and there at times. Then they decided to just do a movie in 2005. I think I think it still holds up because it's almost no CGI. There's a couple points where like you'll see ships flying, not CGI, but it's all practical effects, like spaceship, locations they go to. Like they'll go to like a town and they'll save a town kind of thing. Like it's like they go on like quests. So it's like about this like ragtag, like they're not space pirates. They're space like when they not steal stuff, but they're like carrying illicit cargo. Smugglers. They're smugglers. They're space smugglers. But they're like, it's just this big. They're under this like big fascist government, and like the captain and the crew and some of the crew were part of like a rebel group that was fighting this like big government, and they lost. But like and then now they're just surviving in this universe.
There's a lot more here than I thought there was as well. There's the show, there's the
Yep.
movie, and then there's
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books.
I
1,
have the
2,
first
3,
book and
4,
audiobook
5,
that I've been
6,
meaning to
7,
listen
8,
to.
8 comic books.
Yeah, so it's the like Firefly is like one of those things, like those who love it, like die hard, love it. And like it's another thing is like I don't think most people have watched it.
Yeah,
I mean, you watched it. You're like it's whatever.
I mean I liked it. I mean, it was one of those things like this is very early. It's very early Whedon, so it's still it's kind of, I mean, what, 02 to 03, so is this coming off of the back of Buffy?
Yeah.
So it's, you know, like, it's one of those things where reviewers compared Firefly to Whedon's other series, Buffy, where it says that it lacks the psychological tension of Buffy, and suggested that it might be attributive to the episodes being aired out of order. Oh. Interesting.
Firefly?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, so I know he's worked a lot on Marvel stuff at this point. You know, he did Doctor Horrible Sing Along, which people loved. It was a short thing. He did Dollhouse, which that was a big metaphor for sexual trauma. Cabin in the Woods, which is like a lot of people's like favorite horror comedy of all time, right? I've seen that stank face. I like it.
Yeah. It's not my favorite because Tucker and Dale versus Evil takes the cake.
Alan Tudyk, baby.
Yeah, Alan Tudyk, baby.
Yeah.
That takes the cake. But that movie though, Cabin in the Woods, right? No, what?
Yeah, very early. Chris.
Yeah. Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth.
Phenomenally hilarious. Just them,
Yes.
the fact of them putting bets on, okay, which one is it going to be? It's like, okay, that's too fun. Like, the amount of people that are like, they need to do more. They need to just do a bunch of these now after seeing all the different names that were on the board. It's like, yeah, no, I agree. Like,
and then, you know, Justice League. So I know you're like, screw him. So I don't, that's mine, Firefly. I think that's like,
I dig it. I like it.
another thing that like, it's just, it has not like it just, you know, you think about it, it's one season and then like I'm talking about it, people are still talking about it, but it's not
like it was a show that was so well done that like there's a cult following to it, and it's one of those things where I would like to see more, honestly.
Yeah, I think why am I forgetting his name? I literally said his name already.
Alan Tudyk.
No, not Alan Tudyk. Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
His career is like owed to this show.
Oh yeah, I mean I can see it.
And he's in so many things now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his career is from that, like from this show. So, cause it turned him into like this. He's like a likable.
He's a likable, funny
but
guy.
Broken character.
Yeah. He can be comedic when you need him to. He has the chops for it. He has the actor chops for it. But then also he has the chops to, you know, just completely break your heart.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I
think that's my number one.
Yeah, I like it. So now the question is, for everyone out there, what is your guys' favorite underrated franchise, underrated thing? What is your guys' underrated? Bleh. We just leave it blank, open. All right, we got books, we got series, we got books, we got games, we got movies, we got TV shows. We got all across the board, baby. So yeah, let us know what you guys think down in the comments down below. What do you think of our list? What was your lists like? And yeah, next week we got some fun coming up. That's all I'm gonna say. Not gonna give them any other hints other than that. So, last thing to do, what you got for them?
Go watch Firefly.
Go watch Firefly. There we go. Go watch Firefly. And as always, depending on where you are, morning, afternoon, even night, stay safe, and we talk to y'all later. Okay, bye.